Hello, everybody. My name is Maja Trochimczyk. I'm the host of Village Poets reading for the month of April, the National Poetry Month. We are very happy to have James Coast as our wonderful featured poet. And we have also guests from California State Poetry Society because we're presenting California State Poetry Society journal called the California Quarterly, volume 46, number 4. So we have some poets from afar who are in this journal. Oh, I see the head is already grabbing the journal. There is a beautiful cover. And here's our logo for Village Poets. We have a logo from Sunland Tujunga. The organization has been formed in 1999, I believe, with the start of Poet Laureate program. And since 2010, we've been doing regular readings in the Bolton Hall Museum in Tujunga. There's a group of former poets laureates of Sunland Tujunga who ran this whole show, but then when they shut it down, I took over for Zoom because I got a Zoom account. As you see, I'm still not very sure what I'm doing with the Zoom because I have never.
Yes, but she's the strongest one among us. Trust me, she's been doing great.
All right, so it's also very nice. So this is the Village Poets, and we're also going to be doing the California State Poetry. I put them all in frames so you can see the California State Poetry Society. And there we are. So before I introduce the featured poet and we hear the reading from James, I have two of his books here, which I bought after hearing him at the Canyon Poets. I heard his poetry there and I said, hey, that's a very interesting poet. I really like his stuff. Let's bring him here. So that's thanks to Katrina Canyon, who is one of our Poets Laureates also. So the world is small. Everybody is connected somehow this way or that way. All right. So now we'll start from a couple open mic readers. As I said, I'd like to start from Alice Perot, who is our current Poet Laureate of Sunland Tujunga, and she brought some poems for you to listen to. There you go.
Hi, everyone. I realize on Zoom that it has a little box that you're in, and it says that I'm Maja Trochimczyk. So I can assume any viewpoint or person.
Watch out.
So Maja, you wrote this? No.
No.
This is from Shadow Carving, which is my manuscript that will seek a home eventually. And this is Sweet and Sour. And it's for a poet that I worked with for many years, Bob Hart, who was in New York City. What is this? Well, first of all, I have to preface this because Bob used to put I used to go out to meals with him after we would have our readings, and he would put he kept piling lumps of sugar into his coffee, lump after lump after lump, and I didn't know how anybody could eat that much sugar and not get sick from it, but he never did. Sweet and sour. What is this running relentlessly toward sweetness? Once a desire for sweetness sprang, hidden spring gurgling, there was no stopping it. Does one calculate the length to get to each sweet? Measure floor dust one must drag feet through, determine each length between one sweet and the next. Does one race like a greased swimmer in cold water toward the goal? The faster, the better. I, for one, crave sour. Kumquats, grapefruit, unsweetened tea. No honey or stevia for me. I walk slowly, have no speed, lump along like gravy. I even sleep like a turtle. Night, the endless tart lemon. I make hours stretch into days without sugar. It can last almost forever, like a good dry wine, good for long, slow sips in between the conversation.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. And now we'll have our second poet from Sunland Tujunga. We'll ask Joe DeCenzo to read for us. Okay. ask. I tried to get you unmuted, Joe.
I'm muted there.
Okay.
Hi, you want me to do one?
No, we have only 7 people. Everybody should do 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Do one again later then.
yeah,
Then
absolutely.
Alice can do some more.
Yeah.
This is for Earth Day coming up. It's titled "The Blessings That I Offer." Accept from me the blessings that I offer. Drink liberally from the springs that surface. Breathe deeply from the halo of expansive sky, filling your lungs and fueling your wonder. I bathe you by day in sunlight and cradle you at night with stars. I've sculpted mountains for your soul to climb and fertile valleys for your needs. Accept from me the blessings that I offer. My fruit of life hangs well within your reach. Rest your cares beside a placid lake, or cast your net of dreams out on the open seas. I am your desert, your jungle, your ocean and shore, your homestead, your playground, your frontier to explore. You may not like to hear this, but I wasn't meant for you. I'm everything beneath your feet and belong to others too. You weren't the first to visit me. It's likely you won't be the last. Without some consideration, your stay will come to pass. Accept from me the blessings that I offer. It took me years to set the table just for you. Treat me well, and you'll have fish to eat. Be my child, and you'll have wine to sip. Remember, I always keep the balance to go on turning regardless how the scales tip. What took eons to create, a solemn instant can erase. Accept from me the blessings that I offer. And this is from the classic file. At Village Poets, we often have times where we can do ekphrastic poetry. And let's see, this was a beautiful watercolor by artist Sandy Fisher. And it was an exercise for all of us to look through some of her arts and write to something that inspired us. This particular painting inspired me, and I titled this "Where the Road Bends." There is an implied trust where the road bends of those who came before, of their willingness to share their failures and success, to trust they've plied a better route to ease the journey's end. Unlike a fork that demands a choice, often leading to territories unknown, the bend tells you to have faith in flexibility, to realize the shortest distance is not always a straight line, that there is no need to plow head on into the mountain that will inevitably win. There is a trust where the road bends while you're wending your way home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very nice. Now, what should we do? It's 4:50. I think it's good time to talk a little bit about our featured poet. I have here the book that I really liked, All the Ways You Are Wonderful. Let me read from the back. This book is about finding the strength to love ourselves, becoming aware of how much value we bring to others. James discusses some of the ways he's observed women enriching society daily and highlights the love and appreciation he has for the gifts they bring into the world. Yet he doesn't shy away from sometimes harsh reality that pressures and challenges can overwhelm anyone, even the strongest among us. And that is why self-care and support is vital in overcoming the dark days. And James Coates, as I mentioned, I met him as a featured poet on Canyon Poets. He's a writer, poet, spoken artist, and he returned to poetry after some other artistic medium, and he captures authentic self-expression through his work. Romantic poetry remains one of his favorite poetry themes because of its diverse yet connecting experiences. He started writing poetry back in elementary school, which I didn't actually. So I find it remarkable. I only started when I moved to Canada when I was in my late 30s, and also started only writing in English. I never wrote poetry in Polish ever. I have one poem in Polish on my fridge. Sorry, talking about.
She digresses.
It's about a centipede sitting on a window. So this is my poem. It's for kids. It's rhyme. Anyway, it's crazy. Poetry became a way to express feelings he had a hard time articulating through verbal communication, as well as a therapeutic release and a way to express creativity. This is very important, I think, because poetry is for creativity. Poetry is for therapy. It's one of the best things to write yourself is to write your story out. And you can do it in poetry much better because then you just distill your experience to an essence. So I agree with it completely. And then he attended many creative writing classes and workshops through high school and college. And then he published 2 books, which I showed you the cover of one. The other book is called If I Had Lived, very fancy cover. And both of them are available on Amazon. I recommend you read them. And right now, let's listen to a wonderful guest, James Coates.
Thank you. Glad to be here. So I was thinking I would share 2 poems from each of those books, and then we'll finish off with 2 poems from the collection I'm working on today. So romantic poetry is some of my favorite to write about. And so the first collection was, it explored the journey of a young person trying to look for love. And so the first poem is titled Ruined. He didn't mean to, but he ruined her. He loved her in a way that no one ever could again. He opened her to the depths of her soul, penetrating far deeper than any love before, destroying and rebuilding her reality with every painfully slow stroke. It was a torturous labor of love to know every part of her. He held her heart intimately, knowing every beat, hearing every thought, even before she knew them. How could he love her in every way she desired, yet all the ways she never knew she needed? He continued to give, pouring more of himself, the real him, sharing the hidden secrets. She saw his truth and all the possibilities. Out came a downpour of emotion, an increase in openness she had never felt. Freely it flowed as abundant bliss, wave after wave pounding the shore, but there was calmness in the sky like sunset closing its eyes. No one could love her, know her, not like this, not ever again, not in a million years, on a million worlds could she refuse this love. She was his in this moment, but her love would be free forever. So that's the first one. This next poem is about, like, I guess, memories and how sometimes we don't want them there, but they're still there. And it's called That Kiss. I'm tormented by our last kiss. I should never again have tasted those sweet lips. Maybe it was us. Maybe it was the moment, the picture perfect scene, the music, the moon, the lights reflecting on the snowfall straight out of a storybook. No, a romantic novel. The perfect moment, the perfect kiss, like the first time I touched those soft lips, like the universe wanted this. While the world around us was moving in slow motion, we are acutely aware of everything. As time began to slow to a stop, I couldn't control my longing for you. As a moth drawn to the light in your eyes pulled closer and closer to those lips, it's like everyone in the world ceased to exist. Just you and I were left, primed for contact to be made. That's when the sparks fly. An electrical charge shoots from my toes, up my legs, into my spine, past my heart, into my head, and through my lips into yours, completing the circuit. Higher than I've ever been, on the most powerful drug, the thing we call love. I should never have accepted that kiss. It still haunts my dreams and follows every reminisce. We weren't a couple anymore. You weren't mine, and these weren't your lips to fondle, but it was like I didn't have any choice. My body was behaving all by itself, hypnotized by the siren song in your voice, leading my ship to doom. And despite the fact that it was a long time ago, the problem is when the snow falls, The music plays or I walk that strip, I'm transported right back to that time, right back to you, holding you tight in my arms and looking in your eyes. The power of every passionate kiss accumulated since our very first, rising exponentially into one last burst, exploding and searing your imprint on my heart, torturing my synapses, burning my fingertips. So every touch thereafter never feels quite the same. Sure, others came along and we moved on, new partners, new lives, new husband and wife, but that kiss invades my peace. Thoughts that shouldn't escape release, the same track stuck on repeat, takes me back to feeling things I shouldn't feel anymore. Feeling emotions that aren't real anymore. The chemicals in my body dance, producing illusions that don't exist. That goddamn last kiss that simultaneously said, hold me tight, never let go, and goodbye forever on the same soft lips. So, yeah, that book was kind of a fun project to work on, uh, exploring what love looks like from like a young age. Um, and so we're gonna jump into the All the Ways You're Wonderful, which was a collection I published beginning of last year, February last year. Let me see. What page is this on? 40. Okay. And this poem is fun. A fun poem. So I started growing my hair out in the pandemic. It wasn't always this long. It used to be a lot shorter. But this poem is about hair. It's titled Hair Care. Let your hair down, free to be you. Let the curls slow and do what they do. Run your fingers through it, like stroking a lion's mane. And though ours may look similar, no two will be the same. Isn't that a joy to be so unique? Get all creative and display it on fleek. See, it's perfect, like the glow of your skin. And I love my crop blowing in the wind. Though I feel natural is how I like mine's best. At times you may want to add a little zest. Hair only adds to your beauty, enhancing your natural appeal. It's not the source of it that comes from how you feel. Now, yours may be long and silky or short and thick like mine, but don't believe all the hate. There's no such thing as fine, no good or bad, only what you got. And if you wear it proudly, you will make it hot. Whether it's waves or curls, an afro with rainbow swirls, locked or layered, beaded or braided, bald or faded, it makes no difference. It's your choice and personal appearance. No need for anyone else's clearance. So make your style known and love the hair you own. So this next one is about mature women. And I think that sometimes as women age in our society, we don't celebrate that they're still beautiful and capable and have all, these feelings still. And so this was written to them. It's titled Miss Ado. She is far from used up at this stage. Time has crafted her perfectly aged, a hurricane in size still ready to rage, and her charisma will blow you away. Her taste is potent and intoxicating as seasoned wine, sweet on the lips, a veteran dancer when swaying those hips, style fresh as a polish on her fingertips. Experienced in stimulating you with every part of her conversation, voice goes down like a smooth libation. Who has time for a snack when she is 7 courses of sophistication? Mind fully grown, body completely owned, sexiness comes from organic confidence expressed throughout this mature empress, rocking the stripes of majestic tigress. Her frosted winter fur is coated in love, beautiful, brilliant, and bold. Some novices may think she's old, but passion is the fountain of youth. And to tell you the truth, her energy is focused on enjoying life. Experience gives her the advantage, making it hard for competition to manage. She stokes flames of anticipation and knows the thrill of hunting, seductive yet patient and cunning. Flesh ripened in autumn's bosom, a natural glow baked into her skin. So enlightened, you can't wait to soak up the wealth of knowledge within. juicy and overflowing once bitten, lexicon traditional and stylishly written, pouring out this timeless wisdom. Mother Earth, Mother Land, mothers can also be strong and stunning, but open in offering you their secrets once hidden. So respect the attention she's given. If you tickle her fancy just right, you can coax out her approach in golden years, see her released from restrictions and fears, and fully able to embody and explore the carnality in her repertoire. Inspired to take charge of her passion, her gifted hands can teach you self-love if you're willing to get in touch with her charms and discover her astounding vibes. Oh my, she will take you to places so high you'll see starships in the sky. You won't want a piece of her mind, you'll desire the whole pie. She'll have you surrender into life, begging for her sugar and spice and offering more kissing and loving, giving and hugging, fondling and rubbing, more dining in than eating out. Skip the clout. Intimate connection is what she's about. That good, good home cooking soul food. Taste the rainbow and enjoy the flavor. Take your time. She is something to savor. But if you fall asleep in her embrace, you might as well be lost in space, because one hit is all it takes for you to be gone. So don't you dare sleep on the fabulous Miss Adu. Thank you. So a collection I'm currently working on is how we can use poetry as a social justice tool to fight racism and oppression. And so I want to share two poems for you from that collection. The first one is titled Terror Squad, and it's a pantoum. You don't belong here, boy, but South LA is my neighborhood. You know I run these streets. If I see you again, pow, the end. South LA is my neighborhood, but it's never felt like a safe home. Pow, my end if I see him again. I've seen his gang in blue do it. Here has never felt like a safe home. Terrorized when I walk out the door, I've seen his gang in blue do it. Murder a man on the block. Terrorized when I walk out the door. I lived through the days praying. I saw a man murdered on the block, and no justice was served. Praying I lived through this day. They jump up, jump out with pistols and serve no justice. Protected bullies with badges, they pull up and pull out pistols. I know you run these streets. Bullies with protected badges. Boy, you don't belong here. That's the first one. This next one is titled Spiders. It's the first of two spider poems, and it is written in a duplex format that was put together or created by Jericho Brown. Spiders. What is it that makes spiders so scary to us? They're okay as long as they are far out of sight. As long as they are far out of sight, they are okay, but we won't share our homes with these creatures. No, we won't share our home with predators that crawl into our imagination with malicious intent. Crawling into imaginations with our malicious intent, dark eyes, blackened flesh, long limbs, definitely dangerous. Eyes that long, darkened limbs, black flesh, dangerously defiant. Living life, weaving webs, catching food and making babies. Wicked webs catches babies, living life and makes them food. Always been here, always will be. We can learn peace. Can we learn peace? Here will be, have been, always, always. Make those spiders so terrifying, they mean nothing to us. Thank you for the time. Appreciate being here. Hope you enjoyed.
I really did, James. Thank you
More.
very much. Apart from the
More.
reading today, I also enjoyed the poem that was posted on our blog site. That was insightful into your personality as well.
Yeah,
Thank you for
was
that,
very
Joe.
I really like that poem, and the spider is pretty scary, but then you learn to conquer fear, and then you don't need to be afraid of anything. My son and my daughter-in-law, they're terrified of spiders. They have crazy spiders in Northern California, I guess. And me, I kind of glad that the spiders eat the flies, right? To each their own.
Yeah, well, I think, for me, they are scary, but I because I'm afraid of them, that doesn't mean I, should kill them. So I try to take them outside if that's possible.
That's very nice. We have to be nice and
You can get a
gentle.
little insect vacuum.
Really?
Yeah, I have one. And you just vacuum them in
Vacuum
this
it,
little
oh,
thing
yeah?
There
and
you
then
go.
let them out.
Oh, that's a nice
And
one.
but if it's a
Crickets,
black,
yeah.
if it's a black widow, I would kill it. But if it's something else, I would put it outside.
Yeah, but it was a nice choice also because of the Earth Day, and there's all sorts of creatures walking this earth with us, so it's very nice. So thank you very much, and well, maybe you have something else you can add on to the open, because we don't have very many people, but so we're going to increase to 2 poems per person, and then if you want to read 3, I guess you can. So I would like to now Marlene Heat to read some of her poems. I'm going to ask Marlene to unmute. And put the gallery.
All right.
There you are. All right. So now it's your turn.
Am I ready?
Yes.
Okay. With the gusts of wind today, it makes you remember all the fires and to be a little bit afraid. So I brought out Summer of Fire. Only a few clear days to see mountains, that summer of smoke. It blew north to south, west to east, then due westward with a thick canopy veiling the sky. That one morning, dawn's sun rose red as a bloody yolk, fiery as those flames that devour the ridges and ranges, licking them clean of chaparral. That sun spread orange on the sheets where we lay, while orange flames covered thickets and nests. Fire, you have such a terrible craving, reducing cedar and pine to blackened stumps, sumac to ash. We pray for rain to bear you downhill to melt the rage of you. This morning in the orange light, air is pungent. The smell of black brush, the fear of live creatures. After the night of fire, I do not fret over the smell of last night's onions, nor do I light a bathroom candle, but gaze out to yellow gray, watch the mountains disappear. More? Oh, okay. To follow that is something called Always. This is a place of fractured rules, the arrest of little lives and of broken promises shouted into colored screens. This is a place where the word of nesting birds still trembles, though through the roar of big rigs or police cars' screams. This is a place where man to man could mean a gunshot, a wound, fatal, the shooter hidden in the warren of windowless always. This is a place where daffodils burst into life innocent, and of a little boy who picks them with a smile of joy. This is a place where all is as it always has been, the death-making and the life-giving. Okay? I have more if we have time at the end.
Okay, very nice. So thank you very much, Marlene. Marlene is our founder of the Village Poets Sunland Tujunga Poet Laureate Program, and of the readings and everything that's poetry in the foothills. So we're very happy to see Marlene back in a Zoom. Yay! So nice you could join us. All right, so let's switch gears for a minute, and we're going to go to this California Quarterly volume 46, number 4. It has a beautiful artwork on the cover, which I selected. I edited this volume, and there's a story to it. I actually posted more art by this painter on our blog, California State Poetry Society.com, where we have a post about our monthly contest. Alice here, there is Alice, is the judge for the monthly contest. And for the poem that Marlene read didn't just win. It's a winner of one of the contests. I don't remember which months, but I remember seeing it, and it's posted on our blog as well. But in the journal, this painter called Julian Stańczak is a Polish American, and he was a teenager when he was deported to by Soviets from Polish lands that they occupied to Siberia, spent a couple years in Gulag, was beaten heavily, so he lost the feeling in his right arm, and he planned to be a cellist. So he had to give up his dream of being a musician. But when they left gulags in Soviet Union, they were taken to refugee camps in Uganda, in Africa, by the British. And in this camp, he learned to paint using only his left hand. And then he went to America, and he went to college, and he became one of the main painters of the op art movement. And in a couple of years ago in Midwest states, he lived in Cleveland, but there's Case Western University, all the major universities and the galleries had a big celebration of his art. And he had done some big public art, and there's thousands of paintings. So I thought I put one of his paintings on the cover to commemorate him. And also I like the colors, which should be more red. One reason we switched from the printers, because it turned out pink and it was supposed to be kind of wine red. Anyway, so the journal is coming out every 3 months. We try to do one reading from the journal. Didn't go very well. This is our second time to try to make a reading from the journal. So we decided to join it with Village Poets, so we can have both groups in here. And now we have here on in our group Hedy Habra, which I thought was Habra Hedy initially. Because I never remember Hedy Lamar, right? And then she says, "Hey, what do you think my first name is? Is it Hedy or is it Habra? I don't know." Both look good. This is America. You can have any name you want. And then Elina Petrova, who is from Texas right now, and she has a poem in here. And we have Michael Watterson, who is out there. I don't know where Michael is sitting, and besides his home. So we'll have these three reading 2 poems each, 1 poem from the journal. If you have 2 poems in a journal, like Hedy does, they read both of them. And then I read my 1 poem from here, and 1 poem which I have from a different anthology, which I'll tell you about a bit later. And right now, oh yeah, Alice also has it. So we have 4 readings.
I have poems to read for Elsa.
Oh yeah, okay. Alice will read for Elsa Frausto, who couldn't make it. She's from the journal. Elsa has little poems. Elsa writes little very short poems. So we're going to be fun. So let's start from Hedy Habra. Not Hedy Lamar, but a great poet. I've seen many poets already.
Really picked my name after Hedy Lamar, and my older sister, it was Carmen, after the opera from Bizet. So it was always, we had a very tough act to follow. So yes, thank you very much. And I will be reading then these 2 poems. If you have the issue, the first poem I'll be reading is in page 26. And it's titled, "Or What Do You Learn When You Face Only Blue?" And an epigraph: "Upon visiting my son for Christmas in Santa Barbara, California, how could one explain that need for blue as the sky merges with dense waters, pierced by whales spitting funnels of mist, gasping for air like a cigar smoker, choking as cormorants' wings cut that blueness with dark, powerful strokes? How could there be a need for blue, if not for the saturation of winter grays, naked branches highlighted with a brush of greenish ochre, the crispiness of oak leaves covered with frost's confectioner's sugar, or when one feels trapped under Michigan's opaline sky, like inside a lily crystal, as though resting in one of the crystal coffins Chinese legends deem necessary for an immortal's reincarnation. And yet, I love mornings following a snowstorm, marvel at every twig's iridescence, the sun's reflection oscillating through each minute lens. And would hibernating insects sense the throbbing of roots beneath the frozen blanket, awaiting the right time to release sap to the tip of the branches curled inside before unfurling tendrils viridescent hues? What do you learn when you face only blue?
Thank you. For the second poem, I found it, so I've tried to put it on the screen. We'll see how this goes. Share screen. And we're going to have this one. Okay. So now I can read along with Eddie reading.
Okay, I think I'll read from my book because the print is a little
Better.
small,
Okay.
but I'm happy everybody can follow.
Mhm.
So this is an ekphrastic poem inspired by a painting by an Arab American very prominent painter named Helen Zughaib, and her painting is titled Spirit Flight. So my poem is titled, Or Did You Think Crushed Hopes Couldn't Reawaken? Imagine a feathered blown glass sculpture falling from its pedestal, its rainbow-colored fragments scintillating 1,000 suns. Imagine deft fingers placing tesserae after tesserae, stretching an unending mosaic, breathing with renewed hopes under fingertips' beating pulse, as though these fingers recomposed threaded documents into different new meanings. Imagine how the firebird emerges spiraling, ruffling its feathers. Follow the bird's neck undulating, wings ready to pulsate within restricted space, its spirit throbbing, about to soar.
Thank you very much. That was very lovely. Thank you very much. That's very nice. And so let's listen to Elina Petrova, who will, let me just, can you unmute yourself, Elina?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, very good. Excellent.
Good evening, everyone. Regards from Houston. I will start from a poem which is in California quarterly, but maybe even in a slightly more extended version since we have time, and then probably conclude with some shorter poem. It's called Things of the Sky. 1. At dawn, I heard a cargo train whistling. I lifted a curtain and saw through fog a white egret limping towards my lawn. I broke rye bread and went outside to approach him with crumbs. 2. A sparrow hops from one empty branch to another. While peering at the sky, my retina conjures smoky amoebas, tiny transparent chains. It's drizzling and calm. The sudden red miracle lands on a Chinese maple and whistles. I miss your letters, Lau. A bird never forgets her song. Why did I? 3. The gore-stained talon, eyes clear of apathy, a hawk alights on my fence again when the only clear patch in the sky is lit against a distant thunderstorm. For it's nearly 4 p.m. and the sun pierces feathery clouds at such an angle that a fragment of the horizontal arc glows in them for almost 20 minutes. Copper violet haze at the height where ice crystals meeting sunlight blaze like love in its unbearably pure form. Passerby glance at the fire rainbow and return to iPhones. 5. Yesterday, while gardening, I touched the trembling blue dust on the wings of a black swallowtail, overheard a song that reached me to young rings of my tree trunk. I translated its lyrics from Spanish. What am I doing in this field? I'm not falling in love or singing. The larva comes out of his silken prison and turns into mariposa, a butterfly. 6. Cardinals are back to my tallow tree. When I hear their trio spot a scarlet flutter on the lower branch, my limp heart restores to rapture. 7. Scarlet leaves in the brightest cold sky, colors of ecstasy, like on a Chagall painting. Workers would face the sewage collector in the neighbor's yard, speak rapid Spanish. I put in earplugs to proofread contracts on the porch. Silver insides of maple leaves now clap in silence, and an egret with his feet pressed to the white plumage floats above the roof in slow motion. You're never alone. Even in this petty perimeter guarded with earplugs, and if you put papers aside, there is magic you used to notice in childhood. A dragonfly, a bumblebee, even the drone video of your listed bungalow that captures the blues and scarlets and you in the fisherman jacket, looking up the egret with a foolish smile of a 10 times 5-year-old. Last. Pearlescent riders and elephants on the cerulean. The sword of a jet trace dissipates. Feathery clouds hasten above forum of cumuli, sculpted to be soon destroyed. Nothing has happened to you. Nothing will. A second poem is related to my immigration. My English is self-taught. I came from Ukraine to United States in 2007, and I took just very short course of English, and this is about that experience. It's called Pencil. Sorry, I stole a pencil from Shepherd School to write this poem. Blessed are the bipolar, for they know which face they face. I shed silent tears and smile as I walk Rice University trails. See, there is clover, several drops of wild strawberries for those who bow to grass. Inframed by boxwood shrubs is a bench on which a few springs ago I scribed my ESL homework, a 40-year-old. Passing me, students would not have noticed the difference in our past. In a Kusturica movie about post-war Yugoslavia, a photographer asked a group of peasants to smile at his camera. In dusty black suits, with copper wrinkle plowing their faces, they try, but their eyes are too full and the corners of their lips poorly cooperate. As ladies from the Woodway Bible class told me, we can't relate to those countries. You must be grateful the US adopted you. I'm grateful. For this sunset piercing our cliffs with the green of a ripe grape, Shepherd School windows that blind me with the sun, yet I see the blackboard with Copland's notes and young musicians bending with laughter, like in a silent movie. I want to hear them, to adopt their past, a past I could not have. Here is your pencil.
Thank you. That was really nice. Yes. And I love the accent because I also have an accent. And I speak the
Look,
Polish accent
I
all my
guess
life. And I actually, when I came to California in 97, I got lessons, private lessons in getting rid of my Polish accent. And I passed the lessons, but I never get rid of my accent because that's my accent. So therefore, that's me. So if people have a bit of trouble understanding, I guess they have to make an effort a little bit, maybe.
Usually when they polite, they say it's a charming accent.
It is a charming, exactly. So there you are.
for me, once my ear just got accustomed to how she was using the language. And Alina, you said you taught yourself English.
Yeah, usually through reading a lot. And when I came here, of course, I was adjusting to how my husband speaks.
Uh-huh.
And he's Ukrainian by origin, but he was born in the United States.
Oh,
So
so
I had to learn from him. I just had no other way.
Maya, is there a similarity? Can you communicate with her in Polish? And if she speaks, is it
I don't
Ukrainian?
know. Ja nie wiem, czy możemy mówić po polsku, po ukraińsku? Nie wiem, da się? Chyba nie.
Polish is very sophisticated, complex language. I would not dare to bastardize the words.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was any like overlapping or similarity just
You
because
know,
of the region.
it's just like English and German, you know. I think that's as far as they go. English and German, or the English and French, because English French shares a certain vocabulary, and there's
You catch a few words, huh?
but most of it's no. So,
Okay.
anyway, so that was really nice. And so we had Hedy, we had Alina, and now it's time for Michael. And after Michael, we have Alice reading for Elsa Frauster. So Michael, please unmute yourself and present your poems. One poem from the book and one other poem.
Thank you, Maya. Thanks, everybody, for having me. This is a poem on page 50. It's called Distance, if you want to follow along. Hurtling through the night down the interstate alone, cocooned in satellite music, singing along with the proclaimers that I would walk 500 miles while my engine mills the distance between me and the city of angels. Motion is illusion, says Zeno's paradox, since a step contains infinity. But we shrug, grab a toothbrush, and take off, driving by night to beat traffic, leaving hair splitting to philosophers, knowing from news bulletins that bolts reach their mark. In truth, it's quiescence that's chimera, warp speed reality, far-flung galaxies, immobile viewed through immensity's lens, ceaselessly scatter like startled flocks of starlings as the universe balloons, pulling new space out of nothing like an elephant from a hat. So close, so remote. Do you feel the steering wheel tug toward the next nowhere exit, leading down a desolate road, ending in an open field? Will you follow your urge to stand in the dark on parched grass, arch your neck to ask the stars your place in this world, how far you have to go?
Very beautiful. Thank you. Love it.
Thank you. And for the second one, this is a baseball poem, memories of my childhood in Pennsylvania, associated with the summer game. There's a word in it, unless you're a baseball fan, you probably don't know, fungo. Fungo is a practice where a coach gets a light bat called a fungo bat, and he hits ground balls to the fielders, but they're all close. They're all in the 10 or 12 feet away range. And so that's to hone their reflexes. So that's fungo. This poem was recently featured on the as poem of the day on the Bookends Review website. Baseball on the radio. Long before desire benched the boy I was and took the field, we escaped baking in our old brick oven those summer nights when Pops ran a cord to the porch window so we could sit listening to katydid shrieks compete with buzzing ballpark fans peppered by vendors hawking cold beer and peanuts as fireflies signaled heater, deuce. The zenith glowed like the tip of Pop's cigar as the commentator fungoed lapidary stats between plug of chew yarns, green as the outfield. Like the one about Casey Stengel. Booed at the plate in Brooklyn, Casey doffed his cap, releasing a bird that flew over the stunned, silent crowd. Or the time he thought it too dark to play and signaled the bullpen with a lantern. Those spells kept us wrapped in the windup, the pitch, the crack of horsehide on ash, the majestic arc pictured in the words of a waking dream. Poetry flying like Casey's dove, timeless as a summer night on waves of amplitude, out to diamond stars, modulated memories crackling with static, fading in and out. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very lovely. Especially to me, it's completely exotic because one thing about baseball, I've been to one baseball game. I was sitting there looking at these people, no idea what they're doing, why. So I really appreciate people who can understand the rules. Not only that, they can actually play it. And that just shows how rich poetry is, because there's so many experiences we bring in our poems. We're really capturing the whole world. All right, so now let's move on to Alice. And first she'll read for Elsa Frausto from the journal, and then I guess one more poem for your own, right?
Okay.
Okay, very good. So this is Alice.
So now I am Maya Trohimchat being Elsa Frausto with the voice of Alice Barrow. Oh, this is very short. She wrote several poems in here, but I chose two. Did I overhear Jen say that in each bite of the plum, she tasted the sun? Between the bridge of my breast and the crown of your hair, the moon rises.
Very nice.
Thank you, Elsa. There were a couple others, but I'll leave those to the book for you to read. Thank you for all of the people who came, who are in the book. I think the quality in these journals is really, really high. I feel honored to be part of California Quarterly and the California State Poetry Society.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's awesome. And we hope to bring more people.
This is by me, Alice Barrow. What is done with hello? What is done with hello cannot be cataloged in a tiny poem. Hello taken like a jolt of caffeine slurped down, transformed to lightning, thunder following. Hello, the ultimate vitamin, goes in, inspires, spirit sprints, races to the finish. Hello doesn't stick like chocolate, it slides in, then works its magic. Now wind is blowing, doors creaking, rain pouring down. No one knows how hello affects the weather. Hello lands, then does a double flip, spectacular gymnastic tricks. Does hello have mass, substance? A smallish particle, igniting stars, opening the sky and closing it in a blink. Hello is never stored, just made into instant energy. Hello brings life where death lurked in cold eyes. Enough hello could make the insane come to life, wake, smile, learn to dream again. Hello is a laser tool, inspiring fools to learn, children to scamper across the room, poor men to work, rich to work harder. Hello cannot be wasted, but must be carefully aimed, like a bullet that melts on receipt, the sweetest weapon you will ever use.
Well, thank you very much. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, there's a list of poet laureate that Joe is holding up for us to see. Yeah,
Some shameless.
our list. Oh yeah.
There you go. Can we see?
Oh,
There we
so
go.
that's why make it into a speaker view so we can see more detail. There you is.
Yes, I'll have to. There you go. Now I made noise. Now it's going to put that in frame.
Yeah.
But
For some reason, whenever you are making any noise whatsoever, or even when you're on mute, you're always on the screen. So I have to record this in gallery view because my computer prefers you to anybody else, Joe.
are you saying me for serious? And I'm on
Yeah,
mute.
yeah, even when Alice is reading, the computer is showing your face. So that's why I have to go to gallery view. So we don't have to see you when Alice is,
That's
you're not.
terrible. I hope I wasn't picking my
No,
nose.
I switched to the gallery.
Okay,
We have
good.
we have a new poet. I hope you're the poet Chibuki Ugana, who just joined us. Do you like to read something for us? In blue.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's 1:37 a.m. in Africa, Nigeria.
Africa.
Wow.
Which country?
Nigeria.
Oh,
Do you have a poem
Yeah.
then from 1:37 a.m. Nigeria?
Yeah, I have something to read.
how
Okay.
did you know about the reading?
I was invited by a friend and a
Oh.
brother, James Coates.
Oh, James.
Very nice. Very nice.
Did
Lovely.
you hear his reading? Did you just come?
Yeah, I already apologized to him on the red message. I wanted to see him read, but I couldn't. I was at Poetry Apocalypse earlier
Mm,
with Linda Singer.
wow.
Hmm.
Already, it's always great you could come and join us even late, and you look so exotic in this blue. Wow, what a great view. So let's listen to your amazing poetry, and let's see if I put you on the speaker view, is going to be Joe Dispenza showing up again. Are we going to see your face? Okay, speaker.
Okay, ma'am.
Are
Okay.
very nice.
Can I have it? Yeah, can I have a second to bring out the poem?
Oh, you want to wait for it? Okay, so I can read and while you're getting ready, and then I'll let you come back. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very
It's
good.
okay.
Very lovely. All right, so let's go to my poems. Then, let me just try to do the share screen one more time. I go to the journal and share, and we're going to go. How do I go to the app? Ooh. You know what? I have no idea how to do it. Let's see if I can. Can I go up? Oh yeah, I can. That's good. I can scroll on this one. I'm on page 27. I wanted you to see my poem because it's kind of spaced out. It's a very spacey poem. Oh, up. Okay, it's Aquamarine, my poem in a book. Aquamarine. I'll just wait for the phone to go away. 4 rings and it's done. The 4th. Lucid, lucent, translucent. Waves of the Pacific, jade, turquoise, aqua, sea foam in the air, sea foam on my skin. I dance on the currents, floating with a relentless motion to the shore, to the shore, to the shore. Sea foam on my skin, sea foam in the air. Aphrodite comes up from the ocean, carried on a dazzling shell by dolphins, the wisest of creatures. Lucid, lucent, translucent, fizzy bubbles on my tongue. I swim in the champagne ocean, salt of the soul, sunshine of vitality. I praise the elemental power of water, air, wind, earth, fire, always fire, Ogin, Agni, eternal flames, stir the waves into dancing, to the shore, on and on, to the shore, to the shore, to the shore. So that's my poem from the book. And I wanted to, in celebration of the Earth Day, let me close the share screen.
I'm floating away. I'm drifting away.
I'll read one more poem of mine and then we'll go Chibuiki. And so My second poem is from this book, which was recently published in Poland. It's called Zwierzenia zwierza, which means confession of animals. Look at this. Zwierzenia zwierza. I like the sound of it. I guess they like the alliteration. And I send my poems in Polish translations with English original, and then they decided to put both versions in. I don't know why, because it was supposed to be just in Polish. So I'm gonna read from here a poem entitled On Being a Bird. A flock of birds alighted in my garden. Smaller than sparrows, they chase each other from tree to tree, branch to branch, chattering incessantly in their ultraviolet voices. My ears fill with a sonic kaleidoscope, almost above the audible range. A minute, I have to change something here. Okay, now we have somebody else. They will rest and fly away, satiated with shreds of rose petals, bits of a ripening peach, shared with red house finches that visited at noon. They grow quiet in a cawing of a crow or meowing of a stray cat that passes through on its errands and leaves my winged visitors to their own devices. Would I be happy as a bird? I see wings in flight, lightness, music. I forget hidden dangers lurking in the sky among dense overgrown branches. I forget rains and the plight of modern subdivisions without trees, built by those who love only one hue of green, and it is not of plants. Not of my planetary church of plants and birds. I founded 8 years ago in my garden, alone with the sun and air and earth and water. I took the oath of a caretaker, no toxin, no traps, just green, verdant green, greening. This is our home to share, our vibrant garden of daily nourishment and joy. It was the Earth Day poem, I guess.
I can attest to her garden.
It's very green.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hummingbirds and roses and everything. It's just beautiful.
It's a lot of work, but it's a great relaxation too. It's my lifesaver in a pandemic, really. Just being out there and walking through the garden and taking care of the different plants and moving them around. And yes, so now, Chibuiki, you ready? It's your turn.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
Sure.
let's just put the speaker. All right.
Okay. I'm gonna read a poem titled Speak Out Africa. Speak Out Africa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Africa, tell me, are you a man or a boy? If you are a man, why are you played in their hands like a toy? Why? You had the trees, you had the green field, you dined with nature at the table of brotherhood, you had peace. Then these men who called you black came with the book they said was God. With this book in one hand and wickedness in the other, they laid your land barren and murdered your peace. Your trees they made into boats and ships. And you, destruct occupants of this ship of agony, did you forget how you shared the bird with fishes at the coldest part of the Mediterranean, just before you turned food to the fish and manure to the planktons? Think, Africa, speak out. Speak to those men. Tell them their days of masterdom is still. The boy of yesterday, now the man of today. Speak out. Speak yourself the truth. Sever these shackles of mental slavery which has eaten deep inside your heart. For your emancipation will be complete when your mind is purged. Out Africa, do not prove them right. Let them see that your color is what it is. Beauty, eternal life, purity. Let them not win. Let them not define that your color is as dark as violence. Violence, tell them, has no color. Speak out, Africa. Find your voice strong. In echo, let each sound move long across the farthest hills and the deepest seas until you're dead. Who died in the sweat of oppression, resurrect in a bout of celebration at the party of a complete African emancipation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have another one? Or just one poem?
Just one point today.
After just one for you, okay. Because I thought after this is so nice. We've had various African poets in our quarterly, not in this issue and not in the previous. What Margaret saying, one of our editors, she loved finding new poets, and we had poets from Haiti, from Nigeria, I think, from different countries around the world, and she would do even translations. So it's in some other language and then translated into English. So we have side by side. So even though it's California quarterly, it's not limited to California poets who live in California. We're very happy to have voices from around the world. So we encourage everybody. I'll put the name of the website where to look for link to submit to our journal, because it's important to say these things and important to remember. So thank you very much for joining us and for reading this poem. There's a lot of it that's happened that has to be untangled and undone, that's for sure. There's so many things that happened over the centuries. So now we will move on to another round. So I wanted to start from our feature. James, read one more poem, because we'll do round robin right now. So everybody who is on, we read one more poem, okay? So let's start from James. Oh, there's Joe again. Joe, you're not James.
Can I read two short ones since
yes.
you missed me? Okay, cool. So this month is Sexual Assault and Prevention Awareness Month. And so this first poem is about that subject matter. No has always meant no, unless it finds its way into, I don't know, maybe. Anything other than enthusiastic no means not now, not yet, try again, try harder, try later. There is no safe word here. Plow forward past boundaries till you find her hard limits. Convince, coerce, cajole, coax a yes from her mouth like a trapped animal seeking freedom. Men are hunters after all, designed to destroy. Isn't that why some call sex smashing, hitting, beating it? But not all men, right? None of the men I hang out with, just that one friend from college, that one celebrity, that one coworker, that one uncle, that one time. So that's that poem. And then the other is for National Poetry Month. I'm doing the 30 poems in 30 days. And so this was day 10, and it was written off the prompt painting. And so I am also an artist besides poetry. And so I try to blend the two, painting and poetry, in this poem. It's called Painting Poetics. Writing a poem feels like painting with words. Sensation saturating space, acrylic on canvas, ink on paper, there is little difference. I get in the creative flow and become the vessel, transporting what the universe once manifested. Words work, wiggle, and wrench, layer upon layer, blending tonal imagery into each other. A prefix painting palette, brushes, strokes, syntax, sentences, linguistic link, Liquidex link linguistic strings simile smooth enough to slide like sharpened skates through alliterations anomalies, making metaphors mixing assonance-based lyrics. Use tertiary color rhythms vibing through your limbic system. That's why I repeat. Design my rhyme ratios, golden rule elements measured out like iambic feet until the meaning becomes clear and the message starts to appear. The purpose is not to paint a perfect picture, but to witness a feeling, bring it into being, the artist's job like Karen, the ferryman, to carry the souls of ideas from the ethereal to the audience in the physical. The process of painting that story is my third day miracle, that is to say, holy, spiritual, a joyful fantasy journey that roller coasters me through all the emotions in recalled history. Traveling this path to creation is the art of living, but you can just call it poetry. Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Unmute myself. So, Elina, would you like to read another poem right now? Or you want to some time to look for it and we get somebody else? Joe, are you ready? Yeah, you ready? You're not on. Oh, you need to unmute, Elina.
Myself.
Okay.
This is
Joe goes first, Elina next.
okay. Like the rest of you, I'm as melancholy about not being able to get together in public gatherings. This was a poem I titled Colliding Rhymes, and I used it for the opening of a gathering of 6 poets to try to raise a little money for the Arts Center a few years ago. It's called Colliding Rhymes. Invoke the muse that guides your life to gaze upon the light of spring, then gather winter's lonely nights and gently stow them all away. Incite your sleeping mind to wake, for silent slumber knows no dream that April's dawn can't liberate to form a new reality. Accept the circle as your kin, indulge your ears and let us in. Be willing to resign control, then follow Alice down the hole. The children only want to play. It's healthy for them anyway. Invite the bards into your heart, and we will be its pulse. Still, she haunts me phantom-wise, Alice moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes, ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream? In a wonderland we cry, echoes fade and memories fly, answers never satisfy, why jasmine lives to bloom and die. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay. So the next will be Elina. After Elina, we have Chibuiki. How do you say your name? Chibuiki. I read it like Polish name.
Chibu Ike, which translates as God is strength.
God is strength.
Yeah.
Chibuiki. Okay, but Elena is first. So first her and then you. Okay. All right.
I will read a poem which was for my husband's birthday, and it's called Walls. After your birthday dinner, you said life didn't turn out the way you wanted. Then who wanted the way it turned out? If no one, why did it turn out that way? I wanted a sun, summers in a fisherman's village, and an endless book where seagulls would dispute the catch of memories until silence dims the coral ashes of a shore and other planets rise with methane rivers and that cleave their blue craggy surfaces and hide their vapors that form into frozen particles the size of our house, rotate on a carousel of orbital rings, gravitational ripples. At night, I hear not only cicadas and alarms from distant parking lots, but the silence, whose interpreting is my gift on earth. I enter it, a swimmer who used to long for a lonely blue lap, a lover who's loaned thousands of paths to almost unshareable joy, quiet ratios of musica universalis. With you, we are music. For you, I dye my nickel hair black and fit into jeans I wore at 17, When on foggy November stops, I waited for the lighted bus to take me uptown. There, after a day of threading water pipes at the factory, I would watch couples promenade along dark boulevards, road banisters run staircases as musical staves, elegant bookshelves and paintings behind high windows made me think of lives that turned out the way they wanted. Clusters of grapes, two minuets of Rameau. I cupped my hands to light a cigarette in a drizzle of an emptying boulevard and drifted into idle reveries, like those about couples waltzing at a candlelit Viennese ball, and my grandparents who never danced, but survived the famine together. Frosted silence, congealed puddles, creased my moments when I struck a match. Planets rotated, looking down at the insignificance of any human story, but in many years, when I met you, something in their equations changed. The music in a darkened concert hall stopped being an oboe solo under a solitary spotlight. Gentle melodies wove into bass line with a steady heartbeat, waltzed in a warming silence, the way I wanted, the way it turned out.
All right. Okay, so now we'll have to Chibuike. I have to unmute him. He disappeared off the screen. I don't know what happened. No, it's pretty far away from Africa here using, oh, maybe. No, I guess he has connection problems. So we'll move on to Hedy and another poem, and then we have Michael, another poem, and Alice, and then I'll end, but we'll wait. Maybe our guest from Africa will show up again. Oh, there he is. If he is, oh, there you are. Maybe let him go first because it's his turn. All right, because we're trying to figure out where you were when you didn't come. Okay, unmute. You're unmuted, so unmute yourself.
Okay.
Your turn. All right, there you go.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry the connection was bad. All right. The title of my poem is By This Window. By this window. This lonely room is all I have. The custodian of our memories. It is the only souvenir of you hearing. Painful reminder of the days when two were one. I would sit by this window, feed my eyes on your incoming frame. My heart would gladden at the dancing smile on your face, the swaying of your hips, the smiling pattern of your lips, announcing the presence of a goddess, you. By this window, I have seen dawn turn to dusk, pregnant days birthing weeks, weeks like the flash of an eagle turn years. I have also seen my beard turn gray, painful reminder of the flight of time. Although I sit by this window, in furtive hope of a chance to be, grasping straws in the air, hoping you would again appear as you did. But the only you I saw was your loud absence and the happy flying birds. What is this gossip I hear? That you grace the arms of another and make his bed and meal. They said, smaller creatures with your looks now call you mommy. Is that why you would never show face? Let me sit by this window, counting my fading days, recounting my agonies, looking to the time of my dying light, until my eyes can no longer in sight see, and my heart fails at its beating duty. I hope you would throw in sand at my grave. I hope you will smile as you did while I look from the window of the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you very much. And now we have Hedy.
Okay, thank you. I'll read a poem that was recently published by Cutthroat, and it's part of a new manuscript of ekphrastic poetry, focusing on women's art, women artists. So this is a prose poem. It's a persona prose poem, and it's after Remedios Varo's Woman Leaving the Psychoanalyst. And the title of the poem is, Or Could I Finally Be Allowed to Leave My Analyst? I'm leaving his office. I'm leaving his office with my hair standing on end. No iPhone at hand, or else that would have made a great selfie. I walk out with a steady stride, tired of these useless sessions. After all, am I not reconciled with my dark side? No more makeup to hide the once widening circles around my eyes. I'll let the gray show on my temples, allow my electric hair to rise and curl at will, catching sunlight and moonbeams in its spires. I don't need him anymore, but he doesn't seem to know it. There's still work to be done, he says. Wants me back over and over again. I have no more stories to tell, no more foggy areas to recover, forge, and weld. Has he become addicted to my voice? Or does he see his own shadow reflected in my dream? See, this is the story of my life. Analyzing instead of being analyzed. Entertaining instead of being entertained.
Thank you very much. Yes, your psychoanalyst in the poem really was overdoing it, I guess. Oh, yeah. Okay, next poet will be Michael Watterson.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
This poem was appeared in the last issue of the Santa Clara Review. It's the first poem in my manuscript, Hell's Bells, for which I'm looking for a publisher. It's called Colloquy with Death. I was chatting with Death the other day, shooting the breeze on a whatever happened to what's his name conversation, when out of nowhere he startled me with a confession. Bursting into tears, he wailed he feels worthless, racked by self-loathing. I was taken aback. I didn't think we were close enough for that kind of sharing. Awkward. Never agile. I played the puffer. You are the tortilla, I said, of the whole enchilada, the arrow shot through love's heart. But I don't think he bought my bonhomie. As my proffered garlands wilted, seized by unease, I broke things off with a wave, a crack at a smile, all the best, etc., and walked briskly away, feeling hollow eyes following me, wondering what in the world to do with this frightening new intimacy. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I have another poem from this book about animals, Zwierzenia zwierza. Yeah, okay. And that's about, I had a raccoon in a garage. He moved into my garage. So it's a little story poem, a narrative. A drink of water. The forest is on fire. A raccoon knows how to stay alive. He has moved into my garage. He ate a box of candles I kept for emergencies on the counter, licked clean a plastic plate with a melted one stuck away in a corner. I see muddy footprints on the washing machine. He walked across to get a drink of water at the sink, left the faucet slightly open with water dripping. I have have to teach him how to close it fully, not waste the precious white gold in a desert. My next door neighbor heard the noise, came over to look one night, banging on a garbage bins in my driveway. I don't want my resident raccoon to be shot with a black, dead-looking gun, a pistol from my neighbor's shelf, kept just in case by the door. My raccoon has moved back into my garage. It was his country before I came from Canada in the 90s, before the house was built in 1948, before an artificial lake flooded the place of the ancient riverbed in 1910, before an orange grove was planted here in 1880s. 2 world wars, a Cold War, and a war on terror later, a raccoon, my raccoon, has moved back into my garage. I have to teach it how to fully close the tap for the faucet so it stops dripping, wasting the precious white gold of water in a desert. Water in my home, water in his, water. All right, and now Alice has one more.
Was Joe going to read another? Or did he?
No, he already did.
Oh,
Okay.
Can't keep track.
Uh-huh.
So you would think that was only writing about sweet and sour, but I found another poem with similar images in it. And this is from this wonderful anthology that Maya and the Village Poets put together. Marlene, who was here earlier, helped with it. And I was delighted to be part of it. I was in England